What's good? I'm Kinell, and this is Sinister Cinema, where we get deep into the guts of the stranger side of cinema. Just letting you know with this little bit at the start that we now have a Patreon. Sub up to that and you can get all these episodes early and ad-free, so you won't even see this bit at the start. You get them a few days before the main episodes drop out. We've got some great guests coming up. We've got some studio episodes. We've got some Zoom episodes with some fantastic rappers talking about the films they love and the films that influenced them. We got a lot going on there. Plus, you get some bonus content like film reviews, all that kind of thing. I don't need to explain this to you. You know what a Patreon is. But yeah, it's patreon.com/Kinell Sinister Cinema. So check that out. Peace. Yes, people. What's good? I'm Kinell, and this is Sinister Cinema, where we get deep into the guts of the stranger side of cinema. Kinell Sinister Cinema is brought to you by Forgotten Sons Apparel. Check them out at forgottensonsapparel.co.uk. Forgotten Sons Apparel is a York-based streetwear brand drawing inspiration from alternative culture, tattoos, film, classic TV and cartoons from our childhood. In our own words, if you like our stuff half as much as we do, then we like it twice as much as you. I'm a big fan of this brand and I love the guys who make it. They've supported me for years, way before I was podcasting. They supported me in my battle rap career. You might have seen me rocking some of their garms on Don't Flop and other leagues. I love Forgotten Sons Apparel and I'm urging you all to check them out at forgottensonsapparel.co.uk. Right, now on with the show. Normally, when I do reviews or like talk about a new film or something, it goes straight onto the Patreon. So if you're into that kind of thing, then that's where you go, patreon.com/Kinell Sinister Cinema. However, this one, I think we're going to put it on the main feed because it's a film that's just dropped on Netflix. Most people have a Netflix account or at least someone else's password. So you have access to this, but I have seen very, very, very little fanfare for it. This film is called Incantation. I put most prob onto it. Flipping, he never heard of it. And flipping, he's like flipping main editor at Screen Rant now at this point. Came out to zero fanfare, no promotion whatsoever, but it's quite an incredible piece of work. Like, I got a lot of thoughts on this, but my main one is you should fucking watch it. So we're probably going to get into spoilers in this. So if you want to watch the film now and come back to this, go ahead and do that. But anyway, like I need someone with a bit more knowledge, who's a bit more of a specialist in the subject. So I'm going to be speaking to Amber of the HornBloodFire podcast. She's also a writer. I first became aware of her because of writing for Ghouls magazine. Shout out Ghouls magazine each and every. And she was pretty much the only person at this time last week who was going on about this film. Like, no one else was saying anything about it, but I don't know. I went off the back of her recommendation, and I got to say, this is probably going to be in the top 5 of the year. But as I say, I don't have the kind of specialist knowledge she has, so I gave her a shout. And we're going to talk about the film now, like, probably using some big words that I don't understand. But nonetheless, here we go. Incantation. Safe. Okay, yes. Safe. Okay, Amber, a.k.a. HornBloodFire. How are we?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and talking about this film. I'm very excited to get into it.
Yeah, I'm particularly excited about this one. Like normally what happens if I'm doing film reviews, they go and live on the Patreon, or like normally, like when I record something, it'll like, you know, wait a week till it gets on there. But in this case, I think I'm just going to drop it like as soon as it's edited straight onto the main thing because for one thing, we got to let people know about how good this film is. Like,
yes, we fucking do. It's the film of the year for me.
And for another thing, I'm fucking like, I think you need your credit for being the first onto this.
Thank you. Kevin Coe, please hire me.
You really were the first onto this. Like, I mean, like, there's a bit of word of mouth happening now, like Bloody Disgusting podcast mentioned it and all this kind of thing. But I mean, like, I'm like over the last week, I've just been recommending to everyone, like, I mean, this is pretty much top 3 of the year, probably top 2. And like the only reason it's top 2 is because of my emotional attachment to Scream. This is clearly one of the best films of the year. And it's had no promo whatsoever.
Nothing
and if
at
I
all.
didn't follow you on Twitter, I wouldn't even know it existed.
I know, and the fact that like Netflix picked it up and no one gives a shit about Netflix anymore, so it would have gone like pretty much unknown. And I'm very glad that you said that, because I like to spread the word about this movie, and a lot of people have messaged me saying thanks for letting them know. So yeah, I like to think I had a little part in it, in our little corner of Twitter, etc.
Yeah, this is it, and we gotta like let the people know. I mean, this is why it's worth following HornBloodFire on Twitter. Like, you will get this information.
Thank you.
This is one of my films of the year, and I wouldn't have even known about it if it wasn't for you. So I have to thank you for that.
Thank you very much. No, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. I could talk about this movie all day, and I was excited about it for months, and it completely lived up to everything. I love it so much.
So you were way ahead of the game, like, so you knew about this months before it came out, because like I only found out about it through you. And
I heard about Incantation when there was zero, and I mean zero because I fucking scoured the internet.
Yeah.
There was zero English information out there. I can't remember exactly how it came into my life, but I am obviously kind of an Asian horror obsessive, and I follow a lot of different people from around the Asian continent who are big into horror. And I think a friend, a non-English speaking friend, posted it on Instagram, and I was obsessed. Like, immediately just saw the trailer. I was like, this looks exactly like my shit. I was messaging everyone I knew to be like, have you heard of this film? Like, where can I find this film? I was like obsessive to the point where I was emailing the distributor in Mandarin, and I don't speak Mandarin. First off, it was like poorly translated, Google Translate, probably made no sense, and I never heard back from them, probably for that reason. But yeah, I think I was kind of further ahead on it than anyone I know, which made it so exciting for me when I saw everyone like getting it and loving it. I was like, yes, this is what we wanted the whole time. It was so cool.
I mean, I've been messaging all my mates, I work from home mainly, like, but I was like going in the office the other day, because we had like one day in the office. People I hadn't spoke to in 2 years come up to me and go, "Oh, I saw your status about Incantation. I checked it out. It's banging." Like
Love that.
Like my boy Most Prob, real name Adam. Like, I mean, I told him about it, and he watched it, and he loved it, and like he hadn't heard of it, and he's like the editor for Screen Rant.
Oh, really? He hadn't heard of it? That's the thing. Like, no one was hearing about it because it was so under the radar for so long, and the English information about it only came out like a week before it was released, I think.
Yeah.
So no wonder nobody knew. I mean, I figured it was kind of unknown, but I didn't know it was that unknown, to be honest.
Yeah, Netflix wasn't pushing it at all. Like, I mean, like, the thing is with Netflix, it's very much an algorithm-based platform, isn't it? Like, you get your stuff on the top row, like, and the stuff on there that no one's heard of. Like, I wouldn't have known about this existence if I wasn't following HornBloodFire on Twitter. Like, so do that, people, if you're with it. Like, but yeah, I'd say this is probably going to be one of my favorite films of the year. Like, it's going to have to be an exceptional second half of the year for it not to be the case.
Yeah, it very quickly slid into second place for me. There's only one film that has outdone it so far, but yeah, it's Alex Garland's Men, which has me in bad standing with a lot of people in horror because people are big mad about that film. But I that doesn't bother me. It was my favorite film of the year, but honestly, Incantation is edging it like just a little bit because the hype that I had for it beforehand and the fact that it lived up to it. it might see Alex Garland down to second place. We'll see by the end of the year where we are.
Well, like, I respect you for that. That's one of the main reasons I follow you and listen to your opinions, because you're not fucking shy of going against the grain, are you?
I'm not. I am probably too much of a loudmouth on Twitter. It's got me in trouble a couple of times. But yeah, I
Tell me
like
about it. The people watching this now.
Right, exactly. I just think, life's too short to pretend that you like stuff that you don't like, or to like, something just because it's popular or fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if something makes people mad. That makes me like it more in a way. And this year has been really good for that.
Oh yeah. It has been an energetic year in that case. So I think we should get into the film. I was going to make some notes, and then I didn't do it because I've got ADHD.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
same.
anyway, I think like the first thing we should talk about this film is the whole framing device of it. Like the whole thing about that first introduction, the chant, and the picture you got to memorize. Like,
I have not seen that from a film like maybe ever before. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of movies that I know that break the fourth wall, and the one that mostly comes to my mind is Funny Games by Michael Haneke.
Yeah.
And that fourth wall break is different because it does involve the audience. It's like a little like wink wink to the audience, but it's not like Incantation is almost starts you off in a game almost. You have to participate. If you don't participate, you're like, am I going to enjoy the film if I don't participate? Oh shit, I better do it. So yeah, I thought immediately 5 seconds in, I was like, this is amazing, completely hooked already.
Yeah, I think it's a completely unique thing that it's done. I think like the closest equivalent would be Antrim.
And I love Antrim. I forgot about Antrim. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this does what it's trying to do like so much better than Antrim. I mean, like Antrim, the whole thing is like, ooh, it's a cursed film. You're watching
You're gonna die. Film.
But it's like I think that's a bit too on the nose for me. Like, I mean, the whole thing about like, it's the whole thing about a film being cursed just seems very silly to me in general. Like there's that whole cursed films thing on Shudder at the minute, and I like those. Yeah. But it goes, oh, this film was cursed, and it always turns out that it was just a horrendous like lack of health and safety.
Yeah, yeah. I think one of them, it might be. I think it was The Omen, and they kept saying things like, I can't remember the details. Like one of the cast members was on a flight that didn't crash. I was like, how was that a curse? Yeah. Like surely that's a blessing, if anything, that he wasn't on the flight that did crash. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. And I think like the whole cursed film thing is a bit cliche in a way as well. It's a bit like maybe since Blair Witch Project. I know Blair Witch Project never said it was cursed, but it was so like no one had ever seen anything like it. I remember my mum saying back in the day, she was like, don't even touch the videotape, like it's that evil. But it kind of fell out of fashion because it was kind of overdone for a very long time. But Incantation brought it back because you don't even know that it's a curse at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like kind of like I think there's a creepy pastor energy to it.
Yes, yeah, definitely. That's one of the reasons I love it so much, is because you're completely right. It's just like sharing of information to share the scariness, to share the curse, and that's exactly what creepypasta is copy and pasted stories over and over again.
Yeah, that and like this is like literally the first like 2 minutes of the film, like. And it's already engaged me in a way that I've never really seen in a film like before. Like, I think it was what Antrim was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I loved Antrim, like I said, but I loved it thinking it was like taking the piss. Like I was like, if Antrim is serious, then it's silly. If it's taking the piss, then I really liked it. But the curse thing with the like the devil that flashes on at the screen like midway through, I liked it. But it didn't affect me. At the end of Incantation, I was actually like oh my god, I am involved in this. Like for a brief moment, I believed.
I mean, like it kind of stuck with me. Like,
Mhm.
like the following week after I watched the film, when something bad happened, even if it was just something minor that happened to me, I thought, "Is this the curse?"
Literally, since I watched it, I threw up at work. My
Mm.
car has broken down. I've had various not job, like writing issues, like rejections and so forth, and I'm thinking it was a bad idea for me to join in with that chant, honestly.
It's absolutely wild, and we're talking about the first 2 minutes of the film here, like.
Mhm.
So, like when we get into the actual film, like, do you want to like sort of like talk me through what your first experience was with it as you're getting into it, like?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the first thing that hit me was when I watch a found footage movie, is the first thing is, why are they using found footage?
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind it? Because you get some, like, I don't know, like Unfriended, like the Screen Life one, where it just doesn't really make sense that, oh, I guess that's Screen Life, so it's different. But you have things like Blair Witch, which make perfect sense, and there's some that really
Yeah.
don't. So the idea of Lee Ronan making her diary for her daughter, straight away, I was like, yep, that's good. I can get on with that. So cute. And then, like,
He's jealous of the
Incantation's
white
found
cat on
footage.
my t-shirt.
Bless him. Incantation's found footage, like sometimes his reasons are a bit like the spy cam in Dodo's Bunny. But I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm willing to suspend my disbelief for that. So yeah, first off the bat, I was like, okay, good reasoning for found footage. I believe this could be really happening.
It makes
Then
sense, doesn't it? Like,
it does, yeah, it does.
and that's
And
I think that's the biggest problem with found footage in general, is that a lot of it just doesn't fucking make sense.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's like, there's times where you're watching something and like there's no way that they would still have reception on this phone or whatever. But I like Incantation because it switched it up. There was CCTV, there was Dodo's camera, like we said, there were the dash cam footage of Ronan's parents getting hit. That straight away I was like, this movie's not gonna fuck around. This movie's not
Yeah.
gonna hold back. But because I had been so excited for it, my whole experience was just like everything. I was like, yes, yes, yes. It just got more and more. I was like, everything. I was loving it. That first part where Ronan brings Dodo home and it all fucking kicks off. Oof, just one thing after another. The screaming sound from the elevator really got to me, and I did have to take a
Yeah,
little bit of a
that was
break.
one thing that got under my skin. Like,
Mhm.
there's like certain things like that. It's not like I'm a big horror guy. I check all, like I watch all the horror that it's possible to watch, but
Mhm.
it's like, so I'm completely immune to things like jump scares and things,
Same.
but things like that the
Yeah,
sound editing of
noises.
that,
Mhm.
yeah,
Noises really, really, really get to me, and especially like you said, it's jump scares and me have I'm not really bothered, but it was a jump scare, but it kind of revs up, like the noise starts
yeah,
very quiet at first. It's like, "Ah," like that.
yeah,
um and I just about shat myself, like I was like, oh
yeah.
my god, okay. Yeah, and then and then from there it just goes and goes and goes, and it doesn't really like let up too much. I mean, I guess the scenes with Dodo,
Oh.
when Dodo is well, are the only like nice scenes in it.
This is it, like, that, yeah, that it's one of those films like that. I don't think there's ever been a found footage film that has like invested you as a
Mhm.
person, like, for like found footage. Like, I, I'm like this with found footage. Like, most of the time,
Mhm.
I like think, oh, found footage is shite, and it's just because there's so many shite found footage films. But
So
it's like
many,
one of
yeah.
the most effective formats ever, and when it's done right, it hits you. But like normally, the whole thing with found footage is that is you're watching footage, but in this case, you're actually invested. You are part of it. You know the chant.
Exactly, yeah. And then, you know, Ronan sets you up at the beginning, they play that chant, and then every time you hear the chant, subconsciously or consciously, you're doing it in your head.
Yeah.
And I think it's hilarious because like people who don't even speak Mandarin, like I don't speak a word of it, and I was like, ho ho shu yeah she say you ma. I probably really butchered that. Sorry to any Mandarin speakers, but yeah, it just like pulls you in. And then even when the movie ended, the chant was going around and around and around in my head, and I just kept saying it out loud, and I was like, god damn, this movie is good. This movie doesn't let you go, and that's so scary to me. I love it.
Real talk though, real talk. Like it's still with me in my head. I'm not going to say it out loud right about now because I'm going to mispronounce it, and like I don't know if I mispronounce it, it's going to end up being a slur or something. But it's stuck with me. It's haunted me, like, and like you know about Ghostwatch, don't you?
Love Ghostwatch, yeah.
I watched that on the original broadcast when I was 12.
Oh shit, that's terrifying.
Yeah. And like that stuck with me since. And I feel like this has brought up those feelings in me, man.
Yeah, it's very, now you mentioned, I haven't thought of Ghostwatch as like alongside it, but it is very Ghostwatch. Like the line between audience and fiction is so blurred that, you know, now it's different now because Kevin Cohen, like the Incantation Instagram and the cast are posting loads and loads of stuff, but before nothing was getting posted, so you know you could very well believe it was real. I definitely could. I mean, it's brings you in that much that you kind of do worry for your safety at the end of it, and their safety, and Dodo's safety as well.
This is it. I'm not going to bait anyone out, but I know someone who's watched it, and like some bad things have happened to them this week, and like they kind of had that thought in their head, like, did this film curse me?
Yeah, we've all been watching it. We've all been saying it.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, but it's like I think this is like the storytelling in it. Like, I think this is one of like the greatest examples I've ever seen of like an unreliable narrator where we're being taken along. We're being taken along or something, and then we're having it switched on us, and we are a part of it.
Yeah, Ronan is really a piece of shit, to be honest, for what she does to us. Well, I read a review that said when they watched Incantation, they couldn't get over how selfish Ronan was as a character, and like it impaired their enjoyment of the film. And I thought,
fuck you!
Right.
Fucking, I need everyone to be Captain America. Suck my fucking dick. I need nice people in my films.
Right? If you watch bad people, you're a bad person. It literally. There's another film this year where that had people saying stuff like, I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to bring it up, but anyway.
Yeah. We know what it is.
What was I saying? Yeah, they said they couldn't enjoy the film because Lee Ronan was such a selfish character. But I was trying to think, like, what do they mean? Do they mean she's selfish because she fucks us all over at the end? Or is she selfish beforehand because she knows she's cursed and she willingly goes to bring Dodo back? So I thought that was interesting because, like you said, Ronan is an unreliable narrator because she's lying to us the whole time.
Yeah. But is it that's a rare thing normally, like when it's an unreliable narrator thing, it's like it's because the narrator is like showing us their view rather than like what actually happened.
Yeah.
But in this case, we are actually being lied to.
Right, and we can see, you know, that the footage hasn't been tampered with. I mean, she hasn't even seen the footage until the end, presumably, else she would have killed herself a long time ago. But yeah, the footage is right there. She is just in I love how she kind of, you know, she's a troll. Ronan's a troll. Like there's a moment where she starts to play the monks telling you what the chant means, and then she pauses it and she's like, just a little bit more, just stay with me just a little bit more. I loved Ronan. I thought she was a great character. She was the actress's name, I'm really going to butcher, is Swan Yen Sai. I'm so sorry to that actress, I butchered her name, but she is, I've never seen her in anything else, and she was fantastic. Like, the other reason I loved this movie so much was like the fucking heart in this movie, the performances. Like, there were parts of it where I was tearing up. Like, I was very, very emotionally moved by the story.
I mean, this, we'll just say it. It's dash cam. Like, oh no. I think that she managed to do what they were trying to do with dash cam, but it just banged a lot better here.
It did, and it definitely helps that, you know, Ronan isn't as a politically divisive character, and in real life not an asshole for all I know. But yeah, I guess Dashcam is the other found footage this year that's really divided people. So for Incantation, most people I see have loved Incantation, and it's I'm happy to see us actually uniting on something for once.
Yeah, that's a rare thing. Like, I've not met anyone who's seen Incantation that isn't rating it.
Yeah, same. Or if they don't, they think, oh, it was good, but it wasn't my thing. Which, you know, compared to like Dashcam and X and The Sadness, which had people, there was blood.
Yeah. I mean, like The Sadness, that's either for you or it's not. You should know about it and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dashcam, should we sweep to the side and talk about Dashcam for a bit?
If you want.
How do you feel about Dashcam?
So I liked Dashcam. I'm not gonna lie and sit here that I say that I didn't like it. I don't understand this. People keep saying the film glorifies her. I'm like, did we watch the same film? Because to me, it's so obvious that the audience stand-in is Stretch, her friend, who, you know, is following her around. He's completely exasperated. He's like, oh my God, please help me rein this psycho in.
Yeah, he's a geezer. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's us. Like, I never ever watched Dashcam and thought, oh yeah, she looks cool as hell. Like, she's got a point. I wasn't anti-vax, and now I am because of Dashcam. Like, I sincerely don't understand that, and I know a lot of people are very upset with her in real life because she is a very very divisive character, and she has very, shall we say, controversial views on things. And kind of plays herself.
I get the impression like that like most of her views are from trolling. Like, I don't think she's like fucking like actually really a political person. I think she's just like the kind of person who just says things that'll make people upset and get angry.
I think that's part of it, and you know, I think people like that are pretty much assholes anyway. So I don't, you know, I used to it's a shame because I used to really love her band. She was in a band called Giant Drag. And back in the day, like, I loved them. But the one thing I will say about Annie Hardy that not a lot of people know about is she has been through possibly the worst thing a person can go through, and I'm not gonna, like, it's public knowledge. It's, if you like Google her, you can find it, and that is not an excuse. Like, I am not in any way saying like just because you have pain and trauma doesn't mean you get to treat other people like shit, but I think it's clear that not everything is okay. And that's part of the reason why she's maybe saying these things, which, for the record, I completely disagree with. I don't like her as a person, but I think it's difficult. It's a really difficult topic, and it has, you know, I've seen people fighting over it, like really, really pissed off, and a lot of people very rightfully so. But movie-wise, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a laugh riot, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed the
Mhm.
film. Like, it's a bit weird, like having her, like, operating under a real name, and like, as I say, like, fucking, I don't give a shit if someone's like, I don't need like a good, nice person with
Mhm.
fucking views I agree with to be the main
Same, yeah.
character in a film.
Mhm.
I could just vibe with it.
Yeah, I think that's
But
why a lot of people were.
I think reactions would be the whole different thing if she was just called like Annie Davis in the film, like.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The line again, the line between the audience and the fiction was really blurred on that one. And I'm the same. Like, I can enjoy if the protagonist is a piece of shit, I can still enjoy the film. Like,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like American Psycho. Who's watching American Psycho and being like, oh, this Patrick Bateman guy, I wish he was a bit nicer to women. Like,
Do you know what? American Psycho is one of the ones that like really the film
mm.
gets under my fucking skin. But
Why?
like the book, I love the book. Like, there was
Oh, the book
what
is
is like this.
vicious. The book is mean. Yeah.
Yeah, this was guy's a piece of shit. And the thing that fucking got to me about the film is when I heard that the woman who directed it was a very good
Mm-hmm.
director,
Mm-hmm.
but fucking hell, they tell me to upgrade on Zoom here. But yeah, the woman who directed it, she used to date Tony Blair in university.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
For real?
yeah, she was with like Tony Blair before fucking he got with Sherry Blair in
Oh my
Oregon.
god. What the fuck?
And
Ew.
and that's what people much younger than me would call the ick, man. Like the film American Psycho gives me the ick because of that.
I did not. Is she British or is she American? Or was
Uh,
she just did she just
yeah,
meet
she's
him in
British, I
uni?
think.
Oh my god, that's so funny because American Psycho is like a comment on that late 90s, early 2000s, how fucked up America was. And we were
Yeah.
very much involved in that. Tony Blair
But
was
yeah,
very much involved
this is
in that.
it. We're coming off the back of Thatcher in it, like, and all this
Yeah.
kind of thing, and like it was like just this horrible, horrible fucking era, like, and like that's what they're talking about in it. But like
Mm.
every time I see Christian Bale, like, in American Psycho, and big up Christian Bale, he's Welsh,
Mm-hmm.
fucking big up for doing well.
Oh yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but it fucking gives me the ick because I think when she's directing that, is she talking
Mhm.
about what Tony Blair was like?
Oh, yeah, that is creepy. I mean, I guess yeah, maybe she chose the book because she was like he scarred her for life or something. That's gross. I didn't know that. Wow. Learn
Yeah,
something new
fucking,
every day.
that's one of them ones.
Forgot where we were.
I forgot where we were and all. We just had a little break here, which is what we do sometimes on this thing. And I don't know, let's go somewhere else now. Like, let's talk
um
about recommendations.
yeah, so there are two movies that came to my mind specifically when I was watching this.
Mm.
First is Noroi, The Curse by
Oh.
Koji Shirashi. Actually, there's a few Koji Shirashi films, like also Cult and Occult as
Mm.
well. And not Shirome. Shirome is kind of cute and funny, but like the same kind of found footage, like mysterious folklore, rituals, breaking rules. Koji Shirashi, like he goes there a lot, and I also like in his movies how like uncanny the spirit design is, like especially in Noroi, like the little thingies in the jungle, and then at the end when you see Kagu Kagu Kagutaba Kagutaba, I can't remember his name, the demon,
Yeah.
but his face is warped and weird, and it kind of reminded it was same as like it reminded me of Mother Buddha in
Yeah.
Incantation. Like her face is all kinds of fucking crazy. The hands coming out of the wall as well, that's very Koji Shirashi. He's done that in a couple of films, I think. So yeah, that was the first film, I would say. The second one is The Medium by a Thai Korean joint movie by a director called Banjong Pisantanakun and Na Hongjin, who directed The Wailing, which is
yeah,
one of my favorite movies of all time.
love
The
The
Medium,
Wailing.
yeah, The Wailing is a perfect film.
So good,
So
good.
good. I was actually feel The Wailing kind of has incantation-y feeling a little bit. But obviously it's not found footage. The Medium is presented as like a mockumentary and found footage as well. And again, it's about ritual folklore. It's about religious taboos being broken. I don't know. I just love, as people who live in the West, I think we see the quote unquote West. We see so much like all of our religious horror is like so Christian based and Christianity and like I'm bored. I'm bored. I like seeing folk horror, and I think I would kind of call Incantation a bit of a folk horror, but mostly religious horror. I like seeing folk and religious horror that come from other religions, especially across the Asian continent.
Have you seen Hex?
No.
Hex.
Wait, that's going in the letterbox right now.
Yeah, I think like what you call it in like Cantonese or whatever. It's like XEI. But that's a very good one. That's a very good one from that's one that like I bought randomly on Blu-ray and it blew my head off. Like it's like
that looks good, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like basically the Shaw brothers tried to remake Les Diaboliques in 1980.
Oh my god, I love that film too. And I'm just looking at the poster, he's got the writing written on him, like like Ronan does in Incantation.
Yeah, that comes from like what you call it? There's a naked like sort of runes exorcism at the end of it.
Oh yeah. Also, Kaidan has that in it too. That image of the person covered in Chinese characters. Oh no, I've never seen. I've put that on my list immediately. Thank you. Kevin Coe also said that he was inspired by the game Death Stranding, which I haven't played, but I think he's a big fan of like Hideo Kojima, and definitely Incantation gave me Silent Hill PT vibes. I didn't know the playable trailer that was released and then was very sadly disappeared, but you can
are you a gamer then?
Not I'm a Silent Hill obsessive. I wouldn't say gamer. I've played like maybe 3 horror games, which is Silent Hill, the remake of Resident Evil 2 and The Last of Us, which are all fabulous games, but Silent Hill is my one. Love.
I've got dyspraxia, so I was like just like really shit at the controls.
Oh right,
when things got complicated. But now like I've got a Switch now, and and the thing. So I've like played Resident Evil 4 for the first time, like in the last month.
I haven't played that one, but that's
and all this kind of thing. Are you familiar with Project Zero or Fatal Frame, as it's known in the?
So all I know about Fatal Frame is the director of the film adaptation is a famous. She also directed a film from The Grudge, but I've never played the game. No.
Yeah, like one of the later sequels that was like made for the Wii U. Like they've done an adaptation for like that. They've like converted it so it's on all the other the PlayStations and the Xbox. Yeah,
Switch. I could get that.
Yeah, it's like I've got it on the Switch recently, and like I pretty much got the Switch to play it. It's like it's very J horror, and like the setup of it is
my thing.
The setup of it is like you're trying to solve this mystery involving with all these people dying and all these ghosts and everything, but you haven't got a gun or nothing in it. You've got a camera.
Oh yeah, the camera. Yeah.
Yeah, the
That's
camera.
so scary. That's terrifying.
Yeah, but I
That
play it.
reminds me of have you seen Shutter, the Thai film?
Yes, I have. That's
That
very
reminds me
good.
of that.
But yeah,
Also,
have you got a Switch
Shutter
then?
has Incantation. I have got a Switch. I bought the Switch. I bought my Switch to play Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Typical mentally ill girl. I had to play Animal Crossing. And then I got bored of it, so I stopped playing it.
Yeah.
But I bought the new Pokemon, and I bought the Blair Witch Project game because I wanted
Yeah.
to try something scary, and I can't figure out the controls. So
Yeah.
mostly my Switch is used for babies games, which is fine.
Yeah. That's cool. Like flipping, like I'm not a fucking technical gamer. I don't know all these things. I play Kirby and that mainly. Yeah,
Icon.
but like yeah like made like fatal like Project Zero, Made in a Blackwater. Like I play it all handheld because like I'm too ADHD to like what you call it, sit down for ages.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you play the game on that. It's like a third person, like a Resident Evil kind of thing where you're going around, but you're like it's like quite basic Japanese folklore. And like when the
Love
ghosts
that.
turn up, the way you've got to take photos of them is how the thing is.
That's too scary. I don't
Yeah,
think I'm really bad at play. I can watch the scariest movies ever, but once you put me in a situation where I have to do it,
yeah. But the thing is, like, because it's on the Switch, it's like motion controlled. So you like physically move the thing so you can
Oh
take photos of it. Oh, it's really
boy.
good.
Okay, if it's on the Switch, I'm gonna give it a go. Because I do want to get into more games, and Japanese horror is my jam. And there's a J horror game I've been wanting to play for ages, but I can't find it anywhere, called Clock Tower.
Oh yeah.
Which is
I've
the
heard of that. I don't
inspiration
know what it is.
behind.
Like, I've learned about gaming in the last 4 months and that. Like,
Yes, I haven't, I've never considered myself like a gamer, but I tell you what, an incantation game would go hard. Like that would
yeah,
be fucking cool. That would be really cool.
I'll tell you what. Flipping Made in a Blackwater, like Project Zero, Made in a Blackwater is probably as close as you'll get. Like,
Okay. I'll look into it because I'm looking to get the shit scared out of me, to be honest. After incantation, she
yeah,
got there.
yeah. We miss loads of stuff about incantation here. Like, we just got gone off that A stuff. But that's cool. Like, the important thing is that we got it flipping mentioned that flipping you were the first on incantation.
I like to think so, and I hope if Kevin Coe ever notices me, he might he might see all the hard work that I've done in marketing his film for him. I like to think I've got him at least 20 new fans. But yeah, I just think it's a really great, really scary film. The ending also lives. It's really hard for a film that has mentioned like a malicious deity, like Mother Buddha gets mentioned so much in this film, to have her or it, I'm not sure how you even refer to Mother Buddha, I just say her, but to have her show up at the end and be fucking terrifying is hard to do. It's hard to live up to that. And
Yeah.
Incantation really stuck the landing. Like that final scene of Mother Buddha's zero face and Ronan like smashing her head. Woo! And then the chant going really fast, like it speeds up at the end. Oh my god. I'm just like getting palpitations thinking about
Yeah.
it.
I think I think we should talk about the tunnel. Like, the
Oh, the
tunnel's like
tunnel that must not be entered.
that's a yonic thing, isn't it? It's yonic.
What's that? What's yawning? Sorry.
Yonic's like the female organ version of phallic.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
vagina.
like
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
like that's not just me. It is.
No,
It
for sure.
represents a
Yeah.
vagina, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it houses a presumably female spirit.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely, I don't think it's a stretch to say that. But yeah, the tunnel that must not be entered. I love that it's called that as well. But I don't know if that was like a mistranslation or something, because I thought it would have a scarier name, but it's just like, no, it's the tunnel that must not be entered. Yeah, that last few minutes or the last act, sorry, where we follow the boys into the tunnel. My teeth hurt, like, from grinding them together. I was very, very stressed.
Genuinely terrifying stuff. Like, I mean, like this is it. Like, you know, I say it's top 3 for the year for me, and like, what you call it, Screamers, because like flipping that had an important emotional effect on me. Like, and like X, well, that's like that's just a banging horror film.
Yeah, X is great fun. I like X a lot. I think this year has been really good, actually.
Yeah, but Incantation is the one that got under my skin.
Yeah, I have watched it 3 times since it was released, and I very rarely do that. Once I see a new film, I like to let it sit for a bit. But I had to watch it the next day after, because I was like, this film is, there's so much happening at any one moment, because it switches so quickly between the different, you know, Dodo's camera, the CCTV, Dodo getting sick. Like, I had to go back, and when I went back the second time, like, the scene where Ronan takes Dodo back to the master and the wife, who tell her not to feed Dodo, and that scene where she goes back to visit them after she has fed Dodo, and all hell is breaking loose, and oh my god, the woman is like scratching the back of her head open. That it's so rare for a scene to keep its scare level.
That scene was particularly visceral to me, like, because like flipping, I've had times when I've been like scratching my skin. It's like, like scenes with scratching are like something that I can physically feel.
Yeah, I'm a picker. I'm a skin picker.
Yeah.
For how like anxiety comes out in me is I pick my skin.
Yeah.
And sometimes get like itchy patches, and just watching her like itch the back of her head and blood running down, and then, you know, the light going out and her appearing in the corner, and then she was gone, and then, oh my god, and then all the statues turn around and look at her, and then Dodo's on the ceiling. It's just a lot. And Dodo, I want to give a little shout out to Dodo, because it's not often that I this sounds awful, but children in horror movies are so hit and miss. Like,
I'm gonna cut in here just to say I fucking agree. Like, I hate fucking 99% of kids in horror movies.
Yeah,
like,
you get some real
fucking like I don't have that thing where I like want to protect them. They just piss me off.
Yeah, no, I think that's the reason why I don't love all this, like, the whole like Stranger Things, the Black Phone, all these new kind of things, because I don't really like kids that much. I used to be a teacher, so, you know, obviously I do like kids enough to work with them, but I don't want to. They're not the protagonists I don't
connect with them as people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not the protagonists I want to watch. I want to watch adults, because I am one. But Dodo was, first of all, she's adorable, but secondly, for however old that kid is, I'm assuming she's no older than 6 or 7, but she had a heavy role to play, and she did it so well that I was like genuinely fearful for her safety when she was like sick in bed and her skin was peeling off, and I just felt terrible for her.
That's it. It brought a fucking like parental urge in me that doesn't exist in real life.
No, same. And also with I've got his name written down. I've got all the characters written down because I don't want to mispronounce anyone's name, and I still will. But Ming, the foster dad who works at the foster home, who kind of like takes on the role of her dad. Even he made me cry when he was like, I can't have children, but Dodo made me happy when she called me dad. I was like, oh my god, I wish Dodo would have called me dad. He's just so sweet.
I get it though. I get it. Like flipping, like this movie does play with your emotions in that way that a lot of movies don't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like
yeah,
flipping,
for
like,
sure.
It is the thing, like, fucking, you can't just stick a cute kid in a film and then I'll relate to it, because I don't fucking
No,
give a shit. Like, I live here with my
no.
cats, man.
Yeah, no, same. I have no interest in having children, and I don't relate to them. But when Dodo was, when she repeats her three words, that like bunny, pineapple, woof woof, and then we hear from the doctor that she's been saying that in the room.
Mm.
I did have a little tear, I have to say. When Ronan started crying, I started crying too. So I was like, that poor little baby, she doesn't deserve any of this. Like, Mother Buddha basically chose her when she was still in the womb. She doesn't have a choice. She was born into this terrible curse, and it's Ronan's fault that she was going through it as well, which kind of sucks.
That's it. And then it just fucking twists it up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna be okay, and we're not.
Yeah. So Kevin Coe, I obsessively follow him on Twitter now. He said today, actually, he tweeted that they are working on a second film. So whether it's going to be still the story of Mother Buddha, it could be grown up Dodo, going to find out what happened to her mom. I think that's the most logical point for a second movie. And I don't like franchises. Like, I'm not a franchise lover. I'm never like, oh yeah, this, Men was great. I can't wait for Men too.
Yeah.
But I would watch an Incantation franchise for sure, 100%.
I've heard, like, I'm trying to dig into like the Tomy films at the minute.
Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, you know about Junji Ito and that, don't you?
Yeah, Junji Ito vibes in Incantation as well, for sure.
Very much so. Like, flipping, like, I'm like not crazy invested in his, but I just know Junji Ito. He's like the big guy to know. Like, I've flipping got Uzumaki and all these and things.
Yeah.
But like Tomy's is like long running series, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And
she's my phone case.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah, but I watched Tomy Unlimited, and it's the only Tomy film I've seen.
Yeah,
because it's on Tubi.
Oh, God bless.
I love Tubi. You're a Tubi head, aren't you?
Well, every time I go on Tubi, I get so fucking overwhelmed, because I'm like, oh my God, there's so much shit on here that I want to see. And I do mean literal shit. Like, there's some terrible movies on there. But yeah, no, Tubi all the way. I think Tubi's the one. Tubi and Shudder, they're the go-tos.
Yeah, but I saw like a Tomy Unlimited on there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the 8th Tomy film.
There's a lot. And in general, this is like just my opinion. I don't think Junji Ito's work really translates to film. I've seen the Uzumaki.
I don't think it's translated to film yet. I think the potential's there. Like,
yeah, I think Uzumaki, the live action Uzumaki is messy, and the live action Long Dream is not very good, and Tomie is okay. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think there is potential there once they kind of figure out his whole eldritch horror nightmare world kind of thing.
Yeah, the thing with Junji Ito is like it's always got to start off as like some like oh look, there's like one guy being a bit weird in town.
Yeah,
and then it ends up as the actual apocalypse.
Yeah, and that's hard to put in film, like, and not have it look cheesy.
You can't do that in 2 hours.
No, you can't. This is why I have a problem with films that try and adapt like Lovecraft. Like, I did not like The Color Out of Space, or Underwater, because the whole point of these horrors is that they are incomprehensible by humans. So trying to put them on screen, they just look silly. They just look underwhelming.
Are you a Lovecraft fan?
I'm not massively. I mean, I've only read The Call of Cthulhu, and I read it a long time. I read it at university, I think. But I love the idea of, Lovecraftian horror. I love the idea of something being so beyond the scope of our imagination that it drives us fucking crazy. And the only time I've actually seen that on screen is there is a music video by a French electronic band called Dye, and they
Oh
have a
yeah,
music
yeah,
video.
yeah.
Yeah, they have a music video called Fantasy,
Mm.
which is high level Lovecraftian horror because it's animated, so they can go there. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I like Lovecraftian stuff in theory, but in practice, it's very hard to do right.
Mm.
Very hard.
I flipping like I got like the Lovecraft like the Necronomicon, like the audio
Mm-hmm.
book, and
Oh
like
yeah.
sometimes I just like listen to it for vibes. I went over to New York like a couple of years ago
Mm-hmm.
because I was doing a rap battle in Brooklyn
I
in
love that.
in Flatbush. And I
That's so
wanted to
cool.
like just like have some kind of like vibes in my head. So instead of listening
Mm-hmm.
to music on the way over, I just listen like I've got this 10-hour like Lovecraft compendium.
Love
I just
that.
listen to that like on the flight over to just get my head into weird
That's
places.
a headspace. Yeah, that's a headspace to be in right there.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I actually, yeah. But before we check out, that's something I kind of because you just been over to LA. Like, do you want to have a little tell us about that?
Yeah, that was great. I am still like on a massive come down from it basically because I
I
went
get it.
over
I get it. I've been
right.
there.
It's hard to come back to. I mean, I'm from Cornwall, so I'm from a very, very, very small, very rainy, very boring place in England. And so to go from Los Angeles back here is hard. But no, I loved LA. I mean, I was very lucky. I got to stay with a dear friend of mine who I actually met through Instagram, through horror Instagram. Um, and she had a free house, so I went to stay with her for 2 weeks in Laurel Canyon,
Mm.
which was just fucking great. And we did all the stuff, all the big names, the big hitters. We did loads of horror stuff. We met loads of horror friends. The weed is insane out there.
Yeah.
I could, I would take like 2 tokes and be done for the day. Like I just was not used to that potency. But yeah, it's so fun. I miss it a lot. LA is a really cool place, and the minute I get money and time off, I will definitely go back there.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And we definitely need some fucking like more better weed available. Like like fucking like fucking do you, I get my weed online nowadays.
I actually do. I'm not a massive smoker. I will if it's like offered to me and it's around, but I used to be more when I was a teenager, but I'm sober. I don't drink alcohol now, so I kind of
Yeah,
quit weed around the same time. But when I went to LA, I was like, of course, I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna not smoke weed in California. It's legal.
yeah, it's the same thing as if you go to Amsterdam, like
Right. Yeah. You kind of, when in Rome, you kind of it's part of
yeah,
the tourist experience. But yeah, it was something else. So, I mean, I'm
yeah.
just glad I didn't watch Incantation afterwards.
Yeah. You went slashback video like flipping like pictures of you there are popping off on Twitter
Oh,
like
so this is really embarrassing is that people think I own it. Um,
yeah.
People keep, and I was like, I had to go on and be like, no, wait, because I just posted it with a stupid caption because I thought like 10 people would like it, and for some reason,
Yeah,
like people were loving it, which is great. Like I'm really happy because I got
yeah.
like a lot of followers from it, but people were messaging me like, oh my god, congratulations, where can I come to your store? I was like, it's not my store, just take a photo. I wish it was my store, it's so cool there. Yeah, we did that. We went to the Icons of Darkness Museum. We went to a 90s slasher like exhibit in Burbank next to
Yeah.
the Mystic Museum, which is part of Flashback. Yeah, I just miss it a lot. I want to go back.
You'll fucking get there. Fucking we'll fucking get you there. Like
We'll get there. All this money that I'm gonna get from Incantation and marketing it, it's gonna
yeah,
come back to me. I'm gonna get royalties soon. I can feel it.
yeah. Fucking like I've dropped your fucking name over to like fucking like dude who's the editor of the screen right and said like this is the person who
Oh,
put me on to fucking. So
Thank
yeah,
you so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I love hearing. I asked people, I was like, please tag me in what you think about it if it's positive, because I'm still a pissy baby. I don't want to hear negative stuff. But yeah, I love talking about this movie, and I was just so happy when people were messaging me about it, because I was like, yes, I just want to talk about it. And then you snapped me up. You were like, oh, we've got to
Yeah,
talk about
this
this.
is
You're the
this.
yeah.
I got you on because you put me onto it, but I also kind of wanted to make sure you had a little bit of credit for
Oh,
being the
thank you so
first
much.
person who was onto it.
Thank you. Well, this is actually the first time I've spoken to it in person with someone. I
Yeah.
mean, via webcam, obviously, but yeah, this is like, I was so glad that you messaged, because I was like, should I ask someone if I can come on their podcast and talk about it? And then you messaged me. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
No, that's how we do things. We roll around here, like we fucking get it done.
We do. Love it.
But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up the podcast about here anyway.
Amazing.
So I'm going to knock off recording, but just before we do, all your socials are in the comments, but do you want to let people know anyway?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at HornBloodFire. If you go to my website, hornbloodfire.com, you can subscribe to my newsletter, which I sometimes put out, and that's kind of fun because I sometimes tell you about movies you might not have heard of, like Incantation. You can also check out my writing for Ghouls magazine and Grimoire of Horror, and I think that's everything.
Yeah. Shout out Ghouls magazine. Should have shouted them out earlier, but nonetheless,
Yeah,
I'm a soft bastard.
Obsessed with Ghouls, obsessed, love them so much.
Yeah, but okay, this has been the KSC podcast. Big up Amber, big up HornBloodFire, big up Ghouls magazine. Safe.